Campus alerts never prepared students for this. The notification that popped up on every phone at Riverside University was unlike anything they'd seen before. New app ranks international girls as exotic pets. Low scores turn you into a monkey. 19-year-old Lena Nguyen nearly dropped her coffee cup as she read the message. Her hands trembled as she opened the app link, praying it was some sick joke. It wasn't. Her own photo stared back at her from the screen, accompanied by a brutal 2 out of 10 rating. Below it, in bold letters that felt like a punch to the gut, "Cheap import, speaks funny." The cafeteria erupted in laughter around her. At the popular kids' table, members of Sigma elite fraternity were high-fiving and shouting over their latest creation. "Dude, this hot or not global app is genius." Jake Harlan, the frat's golden boy president, slammed his palm against the table. "We're gonna be rich." His buddies crowded around his phone, scrolling through profile after profile of international female students. Each photo came with a degrading comment about accents, cultural backgrounds, or economic status. Lena felt sick to her stomach. She'd worked double shifts at the campus coffee shop just yesterday, then stayed up until 3 a.m. cleaning lecture halls to pay for textbooks. Her scholarship covered tuition, but everything else fell on her shoulders. The weight of supporting her family back in Vietnam pressed down on her chest. Every dollar she earned here meant her mom could buy groceries, could keep their tiny apartment, could maybe even afford medicine for her chronic back pain from years of janitorial work. The memory hit her like a freight train. 3 months ago, standing in the crowded airport in Ho Chi Minh City, her mother's weathered hands gripping hers. "Kanai, you make us proud, okay?" her mom had whispered through tears. "No matter how hard it gets, no matter what they say about us poor people, you show them what we're made of." Lena had promised. She'd sworn she'd succeed despite the odds stacked against her. But sitting here now, watching privileged kids mock everything she represented, that promise felt impossible to keep. "Hey, monkey girl!" Jake's voice cut through her thoughts. He was looking directly at her, his perfectly white smile cruel and cold. "How's it feel to be famous?" The entire cafeteria turned to stare. Lena's cheeks burned with shame and rage. She wanted to disappear, to run back to her cramped dorm room and hide. Instead, she stood up. "My name is Lena," she said, her accent thick with emotion, "and this app isn't fun, it's hate." Jake laughed harder. "See? Told you guys she talks funny. Can barely speak English and thinks she can lecture us about American culture." "At least I earned my spot here," Lena shot back, surprising herself with her boldness. "I didn't have Daddy buy my way in." The laughter died down. Jake's expression darkened. "Watch your mouth, import. You're only here because they needed to fill their diversity quota. Don't forget your place." Lena grabbed her backpack and walked toward the exit, her head held high despite the snickers following her. She had 2 hours before her shift at the library, then 3 more hours cleaning offices. No time for self-pity. In her dorm room, she video-called her 2 closest friends. Maya, a brilliant Black computer science student from Detroit, appeared on screen first. Right behind her was Carlos, a Latino pre-med student from East LA who'd grown up in foster care. "Girl, I saw that disgusting app," Maya said immediately. "Those frat boys are about to catch these hands." "It's not just mean," Carlos added, adjusting his worn study lamp. "It's straight-up discrimination. This has to be against school policy, right?" Lena shook her head. "I already tried reporting it. Dean Morrison's office said they'd look into it, but his assistant basically laughed me out of the building." What she didn't mention was the photo she'd glimpsed on the dean's desk, a family portrait showing Dean Morrison with his arm around a younger man who looked suspiciously like Jake Harlan. "So what do we do?" Maya asked. "Let these entitled jerks humiliate every international student on campus?" Lena wiped away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. For the first time since arriving in America, she truly questioned whether she belonged here. Maybe Jake was right. Maybe she was just a quota filler, a token poor kid they'd let in to make themselves feel better. "I don't know," she whispered. Maybe I should just keep my head down and focus on graduating. Absolutely not. Carlos leaned closer to his camera. You think I got this far by keeping quiet when bullies targeted me? You think Maya became the best coder in our class by accepting what people said she couldn't do? Maya nodded fiercely. We fight back, Lena. That's what we do. But we fight smart. Lena looked at her reflection in the black computer screen. Her mother's eyes stared back at her, determined and unbreaking despite years of struggle. Maybe it was time to show these privileged kids what a poor immigrant girl could really accomplish. You're right, she said, her voice growing stronger. If they want to make an app about us, then we make our own app about kindness and inclusion. Maya grinned. Now you're talking my language. The war for dignity had officially begun. 3 days later, Lena's fingers flew across her laptop keyboard in the library's basement. Empty energy drink cans surrounded her workstation like tin soldiers. Maya coded beside her while Carlos tested beta versions on his phone. Okay, the Kindness Compass is live, Maya announced, hitting the final upload button. Let's see how these frat boys like being rated on actual human decency. The app was simple but brilliant. Instead of ranking appearance, it measured empathy, inclusion, and genuine kindness. Users could rate how respectfully guys treated service workers, whether they helped struggling classmates, and how they spoke about people from different backgrounds. Within hours, Jake Harlan's profile told a different story than his usual golden boy image. 1 out of 10 stars, Carlos read aloud, scrolling through Jake's reviews. Entitled Bully, refuses to learn anyone's actual name if they have an accent, made fun of homeless veteran outside dining hall. The reviews kept pouring in. Screenshots of Jake's crude DMs to international students, voice recordings of him mocking accents in study groups, photos of him literally stepping over a homeless person to get to his BMW. By midnight, the Kindness Compass had exploded across campus. International students were finally fighting back, sharing stories that exposed years of hidden discrimination. But Jake wasn't going down without a fight. The next morning, he cornered Lena outside her economics class. His usual smirk was replaced by cold anger. Cute little app, import girl, he said, blocking her path. Real clever using technology you probably can't even afford. Lena clutched her second-hand textbooks tighter. It's called Holding People Accountable, Jake. Maybe try it sometime. Here's the deal. Jake stepped closer, his voice dripping with false generosity. I'll delete my Hot or Not app if you do something for me. Prove you're not just poor trash by tutoring me in economics for free. Consider it community service. The audacity took Lena's breath away. You want me to work for free after everything you've done? Think of it as earning your place here, Jake shrugged. Daddy's donation built half this school. Your people should be grateful we let you in at all. My people? Lena's voice rose. You mean hardworking immigrants who actually earned their spots? Jake laughed coldly. Earned? Please. Diversity quotas aren't merit, sweetheart. Lena wanted to punch him. Instead, she walked away, her hands shaking with rage. That evening, she found her mom waiting in her dorm room. Mrs. Nguyen had finished her night shift cleaning the administrative building and still wore her janitor's uniform. Con, her mother said softly in Vietnamese, I heard what happened today. Lena broke down completely. All the stress, exhaustion, and humiliation poured out as her mother held her. Maybe Jake's right, Lena sobbed. Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe poor kids like us should just accept our place. Mrs. Nguyen tilted her daughter's chin up. You know what that boy said to me yesterday when I was cleaning his uncle's office? He told me to speak English or go back where I came from. This, while I scrub toilets his family uses. Lena's tears stopped. Her mother had never mentioned this. But you know what I did? Mrs. Nguyen continued. I cleaned that office better than any room in the building, because our work speaks louder than their hate. Meanwhile, the Kindness Compass was causing unexpected chaos in Greek life. The homeless veteran Jake had ignored turned out to be a decorated army medic who'd served 3 tours overseas. His story went viral after students shared Jake's callous behavior. Frat boys scrambled to improve their ratings, awkwardly volunteering at soup kitchens and over-tipping baristas. But their sudden kindness felt forced and calculated, earning them even lower scores. "This is hilarious," Maya laughed, showing Lena a video of Jake's frat brothers pretending to care about international students. "They're trying so hard to look good, they're just making it worse." But the laughter died when Dean Morrison summoned Lena to his office the next morning. "Miss Nguyen," the dean said without looking up from his paperwork, "I'm shutting down your application immediately." "On what grounds?" Lena demanded. "Violation of free speech policies," he replied smoothly. "Your app promotes harassment and cyberbullying." Lena couldn't believe what she was hearing, but Jake's app literally turns women into animals. How is that not harassment? "That application promotes healthy competition and school spirit." Dean Morrison finally met her eyes. "Your app attacks specific individuals with malicious intent." The hypocrisy was staggering. Lena realized the family photo on his desk showed Jake at what looked like a graduation ceremony. "Jake Harlan is your nephew," she said, the pieces clicking together. "Family relationships don't influence my professional decisions," the dean lied coldly. "The matter is closed." But Lena wasn't done digging. That night, she accessed the school's scholarship database through her work-study position in the registrar's office. What she found made her stomach turn. Dozens of qualified international students had been denied scholarships that went to wealthy American kids with lower grades. Jake Harlan had received a merit-based scholarship despite having a 2.8 gigapascals. Meanwhile, students like her friend Chen, who maintained a 3.9 average, had been rejected for insufficient qualifications. The pattern was clear and disgusting. "This is fraud," Carlos whispered as they reviewed the evidence. "They're stealing opportunities from deserving students." "We need help," Lena said. "Someone on the inside." That someone turned out to be Alex Morrison, a sophomore in Jake's frat who'd been unusually quiet during recent controversies. Unlike his wealthy frat brothers, Alex was there on financial aid, pressured into Greek life by his legacy status. "I've been documenting everything," Alex confessed during a secret meeting in the library basement. "Jake's app steals photos from social media without permission. That's a federal privacy violation." He handed Lena a USB drive containing the app's source code. "My family's been part of this system for generations, but I can't watch them destroy innocent people anymore." The evidence was overwhelming. Photo theft, privacy violations, and discriminatory algorithms designed to target specific ethnic groups. But the stress was killing Lena. Between working double shifts, maintaining her grades, and fighting this battle, she'd barely slept in weeks. During her Thursday evening cleaning shift, exhaustion finally won. She collapsed in the hallway outside Dean Morrison's office, her vision blurring as homesickness and fatigue overwhelmed her completely. Maya found her there an hour later, still unconscious on the cold linoleum floor. The war was far from over, but Lena was running out of strength to fight it. Lena woke up in the campus health center with Maya holding her hand. The fluorescent lights felt harsh against her exhausted eyes. "You've been out for 6 hours," Maya said gently. "The nurse says you're severely dehydrated and running on pure adrenaline." But even from her hospital bed, Lena could see her phone buzzing with notifications. Jake's Hot or Not app had updated overnight with a horrifying new feature. "They're not just ranking us anymore," Carlos said, showing her the screen. "They've added ethnic stereotypes. Vietnamese girls are labeled as nail salon workers. Indian students become tech support. It's absolutely disgusting." The app now transformed low-scoring international students into caricatures based on racist assumptions about their home countries. A brilliant chemistry major from Nigeria was depicted as a safari guide. A linguistics student from Mexico became a border crosser. The campus erupted. International student organizations organized the largest protest in university history. Signs reading, "We are not your stereotypes and racism has no place here," filled the quad as hundreds of students marched. But Jake and his frat brothers just laughed from their balcony, filming the protests for social media content. That's when Lena's secret weapon activated. "My cousin in Dubai helped me set up an overseas server," Maya explained as Lena's kindness compass relaunched. "Jake can't touch us now." Within 24 hours, the app had gone global. Students from universities across Europe, Asia, and Australia were downloading it and sharing their own stories of discrimination. The movement had exploded far beyond Riverside University. Jake's profile became infamous worldwide. His kindness score dropped so low that dating apps started rejecting his photos automatically. "Dude, I can't even get a coffee date," Jake complained to his frat brothers. "Girls literally run away when they see my face." His latest romantic disaster had gone viral. A girl he'd asked out checked his kindness compass rating mid-conversation, saw his label as "fake nice guy, avoid at all costs," and left him sitting alone at Starbucks. But the real earthquake was about to hit. Emma Morrison had been watching her uncle's corruption for months. As Dean Morrison's niece, she'd grown up hearing racist dinner table conversations about undeserving foreign students and maintaining standards. Unlike her family, Emma believed in actual equality. She'd been secretly gathering evidence from her uncle's home office during family visits. Financial records, private emails, scholarship decisions, all of it painted a picture of systematic discrimination. The breaking point came when she found her uncle's latest email thread with board members. "These foreign freeloaders are bleeding our resources dry," Dean Morrison had written. "We need creative accounting to redirect their scholarship funds toward more deserving American students." Emma's hands shook as she read further. Thousands of dollars meant for international student aid had been funneled into Greek life parties, administrative bonuses, and even Dean Morrison's personal vacation fund. Meanwhile, Alex was having his own reckoning. In his dorm room, he stared at a photo of his deceased father in Sigma Elite letters. "Legacy isn't about preserving hate," he whispered to the picture. "It should be about making things better." His father had died when Alex was 12, leaving behind stories of fraternity, brotherhood, and family tradition. But Alex realized those traditions were built on excluding others, not lifting them up. He made his choice. During the massive rally on Friday afternoon, Alex took the stage and shocked everyone. "I'm resigning from Sigma Elite," he announced to the crowd of 3,000 students. "My fraternity claims to build leaders, but real leaders don't tear others down." The crowd erupted in cheers. Jake's face went white with fury. But Emma wasn't done. She'd been live streaming from the crowd, waiting for the perfect moment. "Hey everyone," she said to her phone camera. "I'm Emma Morrison, Dean Morrison's niece, and I have something to show you." She held up her laptop screen for everyone to see. Email after email of her uncle's racist rants filled the display. "Foreign students are parasites," she read aloud from one message. "We should limit their numbers to preserve campus culture for real Americans." The crowd gasped. Students began recording with their phones as Emma continued reading. "Here's my uncle stealing $50,000 from international student scholarships to fund his office renovation. Here's him calling Vietnamese students rice farmers who don't belong in higher education." Jake tried to rush the stage, but campus security held him back. "You're lying," he screamed. "My uncle would never say that." Emma pulled up another email. Jake Harlan's scholarship approved despite 2.8 gigapascals. Reason: family connection and donor status. Meanwhile, Chen Wu denied despite 3.9 gigapascals. Reason: insufficient American values. The evidence was overwhelming. Years of systemic discrimination, financial fraud, and family nepotism laid bare for everyone to see. Lena stood in the crowd, tears streaming down her face, not from sadness this time, but from pure vindication. Her mother appeared beside her, still in her cleaning uniform but standing tall with pride. "You did this, Con," Mrs. Wynne whispered. "You exposed the truth they tried to hide." But the drama wasn't over. Campus police were pushing through the crowd, and Jake was frantically making phone calls. "They're trying to shut us down," Carlos yelled over the noise. "Jake's calling in favors." Emma kept streaming, her viewer count climbing past 100,000 people worldwide. "This is what systemic racism looks like," she said to her camera. "This is how the system protects wealth and privilege while crushing dreams." The police reached the stage just as Emma uploaded the final evidence file to a secure server. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced with a smile, "the truth is now permanent. No one can delete it or cover it up." Jake's world was crumbling in real time, broadcast live to the entire internet. And somewhere in the crowd, Lena realized that kindness really could cross borders. The revolution had gone global, and there was no stopping it now. The campus police weren't there to shut down the protest. They were there to make arrests. Detective Sarah Chen stepped forward with handcuffs gleaming in the afternoon Sunday. Behind her, FBI agents in dark suits surrounded the administration building. "Dean Morrison, you're under arrest for embezzlement of federal funds, wire fraud, and civil rights violations," she announced loudly enough for Emma's live stream to capture every word. The crowd went silent. Dean Morrison's face turned pale as handcuffs clicked around his wrists. "This is ridiculous," he sputtered. "I'm a respected administrator. You can't treat me like a common criminal." "Sir, you stole over $200,000 in diversity scholarship funds," Detective Chen replied. "That makes you exactly a common criminal." But the biggest shock was yet to come. Jake Harlan, another officer, called out, "You're also under arrest for data theft, privacy violations, and conspiracy to commit fraud." Jake tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The entire quad was surrounded. "I didn't steal anything," he protested as officers restrained him. "It's just an app." An app that illegally harvested private photos from social media accounts, the FBI agent explained. "That's a federal crime, son. Plus, we found evidence on your laptop showing you helped your uncle redirect scholarship funds." Emma's livestream viewer count hit 500,000 as the arrests unfolded in real time. Comments poured in from around the world, celebrating justice finally being served. "The evidence came from Jake's own computer," Detective Chen announced to the crowd. "Sometimes criminals are their own worst enemies." Apparently, Jake had been so arrogant that he'd saved all his correspondence with Dean Morrison, including detailed plans to eliminate undesirable international students and preserve campus culture for the right kind of people. Within hours, the entire Sigma elite fraternity was expelled from campus. Their charter was revoked permanently, and their house was seized as evidence in the federal investigation. But the real surprise came the next morning. University President Dr. Patricia Williams called an emergency assembly. She'd been overseas during the crisis, returning to find her campus in international headlines. "Yesterday, I watched a live stream that showed me things I never thought possible at my university," she said, her voice heavy with emotion. "I am ashamed and appalled by what happened here." The auditorium was packed. Students, faculty, and media representatives filled every seat. However, President Williams continued, "I also saw something beautiful. I saw students standing up for each other across all backgrounds and borders. I saw real leadership from unexpected places." She looked directly at Lena in the front row. "Miss Lena Nguyen, would you please come to the stage?" Lena's legs felt like jelly as she walked up. Her mother, still in her janitor's uniform, watched proudly from the audience. "Miss Nguyen, your courage and integrity have not only exposed corruption at this university, but inspired a global movement for inclusion and kindness," President Williams said. "Therefore, I am awarding you a full scholarship, retroactive to your freshman year. Additionally, all the money you've paid in tuition and fees will be refunded immediately." The auditorium erupted in cheers. Lena broke down crying as the president continued. "Furthermore, Mrs. Nguyen, your years of dedicated service to this university while facing discrimination are unacceptable. I am promoting you to head of campus facilities with a salary increase of $40,000 annually." Lena ran down to hug her mother, both of them sobbing with joy. "We crossed oceans for this moment," Lena whispered in Vietnamese. "We made it, Mom. We actually made it." But the transformation was just beginning. Alex Morrison took the microphone next, his voice shaking with determination. "I'm rebuilding what my fraternity destroyed," he announced. "Sigma Elite is dead, but from its ashes, I'm creating the Inclusion Alliance, a club dedicated to supporting underrepresented students and fighting discrimination wherever we find it." The response was immediate. Students lined up to join, including several former frat members who'd been pressured into the toxic culture but never believed in it. Meanwhile, the aftermath provided some unexpected comedy. Jake's former frat brothers, desperate to repair their reputations, had started volunteering everywhere possible. The sight of entitled rich kids awkwardly serving soup at homeless shelters and struggling to pronounce international students' names correctly became a campus meme. "Can I get some kindness points for this?" One former brother asked hopefully after helping an elderly professor carry books. The Kindness Compass app now had over 5 million users worldwide. Universities across 6 continents had adopted it as an official tool for promoting campus inclusion. Emma Morrison became the app's global spokesperson, using her insider knowledge to help other students expose discrimination at their schools. "Privilege isn't a bad thing," she said in interviews, "but using privilege to hurt others is unforgivable. We have to do better." 3 months later, Riverside University looked completely different. The Inclusion Alliance had grown to over 800 members. Their weekly cultural exchange dinners celebrated diversity instead of mocking it. Study groups paired international students with domestic students, creating friendships that bridged every possible divide. Lena's mother had transformed the campus facilities department, implementing programs that hired more immigrant workers and provided English language support for all employees. "Every morning I clean these halls," Mrs. Nguyen said at the anti-bias workshop that became mandatory for all students. "But now I clean them with dignity, knowing my daughter proved that hard work and kindness always win in the end." The final campus statistics told the real story. International student enrollment increased by 60%, reported incidents of discrimination dropped to nearly zero, and graduation rates for underrepresented students reached all-time highs. Lena stood at her graduation podium 2 years later, looking out at the most diverse graduating class in university history. "They tried to rank us, label us, and reduce us to stereotypes," she said. "But we proved that kindness crosses all borders and prejudice always backfires." Jake and Dean Morrison were serving federal prison sentences. Their appeals had been denied. "What happens in the dark," Lena concluded, "always comes to light." Hey fam, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories like this. Practice inclusion today because everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter where they come from or how much money their family has. Let's change the world together, one act of kindness at a time.